I'm Richard Baxter. I'm a partner in London. Yesterday, my Citigroup economic update informed me of two things. One is that Sydney is now the world's most expensive place in the world to buy a suit, and Delhi is the cheapest place in the world to go on a date. I assume that excludes the flight cost from the UK. So as I say, we're here to talk about change. In times of economic difficulty, governments move away from collection of direct taxes and in favour of indirect taxes. After all, one doesn't need to make money in order to pay indirect tax. This is exactly what these taxes were designed for. Probably at an intra-governmental level, everybody regards this slide as a great success because it shows the ability of governments to manage its tax receipts month by month with a very effective policy tool, which in Europe is VAT. And of course, we're conscious that that has expanded not from Europe across the whole of the world, with very few exceptions. So we see at the beginning of the crisis in 2008, VAT rates on average start to go up, and that increases revenue coming in the next month in that particular country. A very, very effective fiscal tool. Corporate tax trends. The red line at the top is about the top rates of corporate tax in Europe. And look what's happening to those. Those have been coming down and coming down still during a period of recession because of the need to attract business into communities. One's not going to collect tax anyway until companies start making profits, but you may as well get the business into your country. So, we have a number of trends. We have governments significantly trying to capture revenue that has previously not been captured. We know that they have captured $14 billion through initiatives of the G20. We know they're looking at compliance strategies of multinational companies. So in the UK, for example, a couple of years ago, working with a very large group, Revenue and Customs said to me, we now have a tool for looking at the company's tax determination system in their SAP accounting system. That's new, and that will increase. International cooperation is increasing. But getting business into your country, taxing it through indirect tax, and attracting it through a low tax rate is only half of the story. Once you've got that business in your country, then the objective from a governmental point of view is to make sure that the right and the most amount of tax is paid under the law. We've heard from Dale on the expansion of the permanent established concept and the further use of transfer pricing to suck revenues into competing jurisdictions. We've heard from Gokul about the maturing, indeed I would say now mature Asian tax systems and unpredictability thereof, particularly in the light of Vodafone recently in India. To close, as I said, the developed world is in a debt crisis, and in the years before Spin, the Prime Minister of Albania, or President of Albania, Enver Hoxha, many years ago, delivered to his people a very bleak message in a time of austerity. He said, the bad news is next year's going to be very bad, but the good news is it's not going to be as bad as the year after. I hope that in Europe and in the developed world we are not in that position, but there is significant uncertainty. Yesterday's news in the UK, we went back into recession. That was not expected. Governments are operating in an unbelievably difficult environment. In Europe last year, I think there was real shock in the international community at the inability of countries to bring in additional tax revenues on demand.